watching Man Coverage with Nate Schmidt and James Bonneville on National Streaming Sports.
Good morning to all, and to all a good night. It is November 30, 2025. It is college football's Man Coverage. We are talking rivalry week. We are talking college football playoff. We are talking coaching moves. James, how the hell are you, sir?
Tired. I mean, my God. Like the final game got done with at what, 1 a.m. my time, probably 2 a.m. your time. I mean, my God, it just kept going on and on and on yesterday. I mean, games Thursday, games Friday, games Saturday. And there's more questions and answers, it seems like.
I am a little tired. It was a lot of football going down this weekend for sure. And we got a few questions answered that I do know. I got to see your boy Diego Pavia live. I got to tell you, he's smaller in person than he is on TV. I have no clue how that guy does what he does. He's not that fast. He's not that quick. He's not that strong. He doesn't have that good of an arm, but my God, he just makes plays. I no longer am going to make fun of him because he torched the Volunteers here in the Neyland Stadium yesterday. I could not believe it. I could not believe what I was watching. But we're going to get into that game pretty heavy. But I think what we've got to do first is we have got to discuss the number one story in all of college football, which is very sad that this is the case. But it is the number one story in all of college football, and that for some reason is all about where Lane Kiffin is going. And don't get me wrong, Lane Kiffin is a good football coach. He's done a tremendous job at Ole Miss. They've still won nothing. They have won no SEC championships. They've won no national championships. They've won squat. However, they are in position to play for the national championship this year. And I think, I think they're in. But everyone's saying that he's out and that he was going to LSU. It's supposed to be announced tomorrow. James, what do you think is going to happen and why?
Well, I mean, first off, I have no clue what's going to happen because, I mean, literally since this morning, I've heard he's staying at Ole Miss. I've heard he's leaving Ole Miss. He was supposed to announce yesterday. I've heard the deal was $90 million. Ole Miss matched LSU's offer. I don't know. But, I mean, let's be honest. Ole Miss doesn't have the guns that LSU does. But at the same time, LSU, their past three coaches, two of which won national championships, the governor got involved in the firing process. And I'm sorry, name another state in the union where the governor gets involved in the football program.
Never heard of that.
I mean, Les Miles and Ed Orgeron both won titles and got fired within 2 years of those titles. I mean, what would you want that job? I don't care if they pay me $100 million. I mean, honest to God, the amount of headaches you got to deal with are ridiculous because every game is going to matter. Like every single game. If you don't win a national championship, hell, the governor may call for you to get fired. The governor got involved with the AD firing. I mean, what in the world? Like, for me, it'd be a no-brainer, but I'm not Lane Kiffin. But Lane Kiffin's life, he's kind of evolved. And honestly, staying at Ole Miss, he could be something there. I mean, you look at his last 5 years at Ole Miss, 4 of which they had 10-win seasons. There has never been a time Ole Miss has had 4 of the last 5 years 10-win seasons.
I agree.
Am I wrong?
No, you are 100% on that. And I agree. I think he should stay. I mean, you're winning here. Look at all these coaches that think they can go somewhere else and win, and then it doesn't work out. Why would you leave a good thing? Why would you get rid of what you're doing that's working? I don't understand that. You're making great money. They love you there. You're on pace to compete or play for or possibly win a national championship every year. Why would you give that up? My question to you, James, is now because of all of this, because of the last 2-3 weeks, is the relationship too far gone? I mean, is he done too much damage to his reputation, to his name at Ole Miss, or can he just say tomorrow, you know what, I'm staying here? Never mind all this crap that's going on. Can he do that at this point?
I think so. I mean, because Grant, we're not in the locker room. We're just seeing the noise from the outside. And if there was that much noise in the locker room, they wouldn't have played like they did against Ole Miss. I mean, Mississippi State, especially in the second half. I mean, let's remember, before the beginning of the season, Austin freaking Simmons was the starting quarterback. He gets hurt, and a Division II quarterback takes over. And I had my doubts about Trinidad Chambliss. Man, this guy took Trinidad Chambliss and really took him in, he's having one hell of a year. I mean, it's kind of amazing what this guy can do. I'm blown away. Like, seeing the maturity of Lane Kiffin back from his USC days to today, it's like a totally different guy. And I would stay at Ole Miss, because at Ole Miss, they can put up statues of you. At LSU, I mean, you're
just another dude. And I agree with you. I think he should stay, but I think that if he was going to stay, he should have done that 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago and said, I'm staying. I'm signing this extension. I'm going to be here for the duration. I'm your guy. At this point, if you were going to do that, why didn't you do that already?
If you're Ole Miss and he takes the LSU job, do you let him coach in the playoff? Because I don't.
No, I don't. I say, you don't want to be our coach, get the hell out of here. But I bet they will, because you got to get something out of this. I would think they would want to at least get a national championship out of this before he goes. But I agree with you. Your points on LSU, I would be concerned if I was taking that job. It's been a, excuse my language, shit show ever since they decided to get rid of Brian Kelly, which I think was kind of a joke. Why? You went out and got this guy. You went out and paid his buyout at Notre Dame. You went out and fired your coach who won a national championship and hired this guy who's never won one and said he's your dude. And then you get rid of him, not even mid-season. I don't know, man. I just, that didn't seem like a great plan at the time, and their season has fallen apart since then. And then also since the firing, it's become even more of a shit show with, saying that they weren't firing him or that they were firing him for cause and that they hadn't really fired him yet. Then he has to his lawyers have to file a lawsuit against the university to get his firing to be, completely announced and get it finalized. I mean, it's just been a mess, dude. You're going to fire the guy, then pay him. Okay, because the buyout is there. What's going on. You think you were going to just fire him and not pay him? I mean, that's what they really thought they were going to do, James. And I just think it's kind of a mess down in the big red stick right now. And I'm not sure that I'd want to leave my stable environment for this mess that is LSU. That being said, he can get dudes at LSU. Okay.
Oh, God,
they've got dudes now. Their defense is legitimate. They almost beat Oklahoma yesterday, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So, you've got talent galore in LSU. I think it seems like he's headed that way. I just think if he was going to stay, he would have announced it already. I don't know why you would leave a school in the middle of a national championship run, but I just think at this point, I don't know if you can go back.
Well, that's what's sad about this day and age is we never would have had this happen. 2 years before the NIL, before the transfer portal, and now the rules have completely changed. I mean, if it was the old CFP and the 4 teams and Ole Miss was in, Do you think Lane Kiffin would be leaving for LSU? Hell no. Hell no. Why would he? The chance to win a national championship. Now he's got a chance to win a national championship, but the way recruiting is, the way the transfer portal is, he has no choice but to leave now. Like, it is ridiculous. It is so. I mean, this isn't the beginning of the. This isn't the end of the beginning. This is the beginning of the end. I mean, the way this is going down, and I just pray to God if Kiffin does stay, who the hell does LSU go after next? I mean, the biggest villain in this whole thing isn't Brian Kelly. Hell, isn't the governor. It's Scott freaking Woodward, the former AD. Let's remind you that he was at A&M and signed that stupid contract with Jimbo Fisher and brought out a national championship trophy in the freaking press conference. And his time at Texas A&M, I mean, there's a reason why August 4th is Texas A&M Day, because they always go 8-4 under Jimbo Fisher. And then you fire him with that kind of buyout, and everybody's like, well, it's so stupid they have those kind of buyouts. In this day and age, if you don't have a buyout that big and you're a head coach that's good, you're a moron.
Yeah, I just don't know what Lane's thinking. You know, I don't even know if he's made a decision yet, to be honest with you.
They pushed back the team meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think that if you were going to stay, you should have just said, I mean, maybe he will say I'm staying, but I just think it's just not a good look at this point with what has gone on. Your team is playing for a national championship and you're flying to other college campuses, talking to them about their job. And I agree, this is a lot to do with the calendar. The calendar is so screwed up.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense. And that is what is causing all of this nightmarish behavior, is because the recruiting is in December and then the portal opens at the end of December. And you've got to have your roster set for next year because now the spring portal window is gone. So this is all set. This is all set up and controlled by this stupid calendar that these guys voted on. And now we're all complaining about. I think it's a disaster.
There's a step you're forgetting, though. There's one step you're forgetting, and that's school calendars. You've got some schools that are beginning really quick in the beginning of January. So that window is like microscopic. And the playoffs going well into January.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they really care about these kids' student lives. If they did, they wouldn't.
But if they want them to play in spring practice, they want, especially quarterbacks, they're going to want them in spring practice.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying spring practice is kind of a joke. They don't even do spring games anymore. Half the guys don't participate. Some guys leave their high schools before the graduation and leave in December. That to me makes no sense either. It's all a big mess. And before we get to the games, I've got one more question for you regarding the coaching search. Is who is going to take the Penn State job, sir? Because we're all so, latched on to Lane Kiffin, and we are all so concerned about what job he is going to take that no one seems to know who is going to be the next head coach for the Penn State Nittany Lions. It's like every day they come up and they're big, Twitter followers and the people that cover the team. There's a new name like every week. Oh, we're getting Brian Hartline. Oh, we're getting Matt Rule. Oh, we've gone through like 9 names and nobody wants this job, it seems. And now they're talking about, last week they were talking about hiring, the interim and, bringing that guy on, which makes absolutely no sense, James. Who is taking the Penn State job?
Well, I mean, if it is Hartline, they weren't going to announce that until after the Big Ten championship, which I still think is a possibility. But it seems like that mustard's kind of gone sour. I honestly, a name that nobody's talking about, since John Summerall's name is off the board, probably going to Florida. What about Kalani Sitake at BYU? I mean, honest to God, he's a really good coach. And the restrictions he has to deal with from a recruiting standpoint, what he's done at BYU is kind of amazing.
You think they're going to hire him?
I think it would be a strong move to give him an interview. Yeah. I would.
But you think they're going to hire him?
If I had to put odds on it today, I'd say him.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think that's a bad idea. I think out of all the names that I've heard, that I think is a pretty good one. And he is a proven commodity. He is a guy that, has a team with an unbelievable record that no one's even talking about. Yeah. And I agree with you. I think he deserves some consideration. What do you think the talk came about because of Terry Smith? Why were people starting to say that they want to keep Terry Smith? What were people seeing that I missed, James? Because I didn't see 100% turnaround from when they fired James Franklin to now. I haven't seen the galvanization of the Penn State Nittany Lions when Terry took over. What am I not seeing that some of these others folks have bared witness to? Because I have not seen it.
I mean, the only thing I can think of, and it means the only thing, is that they're worried this locker room is going to completely blow up. I mean, their recruiting class has imploded like none other. And I mean, granted, let's congratulate Penn State on being bowl eligible, probably going to the Motor City Bowl or whatever the hell it's called in Detroit this year, because after the way they collapsed, I didn't expect them to go to a bowl game. But that's the only thing I can think of. But you look at that recruiting class has dropped like flies. And shockingly, I know this is kind of a shock, they're ending up at Virginia Tech. How in the world did that happen? I mean, obviously James Franklin wasn't that big of a moron, but I Terry Smith, who the hell is Terry Smith? I mean, honestly, another name, what about Bob Chesney at James Madison? Like, he is one of the most underrated coaches out there. Before that, he was at Holy freaking Cross, winning at Holy Cross. There are names out there. I mean, Chesney's gonna be somewhere else by next season. Penn State would be a smart move because it's not that far away.
No, I'm okay with that. I just was very confused about Terry Smith and why that we were talking about him doing this amazing job. He was 2-3 when this buzz started flowing. And I'm like, what is 2-3 with a team that was supposed to win the national championship got to do with him becoming the head coach? I just was so confused by all of this. And I've got nothing against the guy. Do I think he's done a horrible job? No. But if you wanted to be the head coach, I wanted to see an immediate turnaround. But this guy was on Franklin's staff for how long, James? A decade?
At least.
So why are we, if you want to get rid of James Franklin and you think James Franklin was the problem as to why you were winning, which firing him, that's what you're saying, why would you hire someone from his staff?
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense, right?
I agreed. I mean,
okay. Just want to make sure. I thought maybe I was nuts, but I just kind of thought that makes no sense.
Granted, this whole coaching search this year has been the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my life. Up is down, left is right. I have no clue what's going on. I mean, you got 1AA coaches getting ridiculous extensions for fear they're going to move on to Division I. I mean, this is crazy.
It is crazy, but the Penn State job is probably the biggest disaster of all these coaches. Oh, this was the team that fired their coach first. This is the team that said they wanted to move on and wanted to, make a new course, set a new course on their ship, and they don't even know who they're hiring or who they're even offering the job to.
Let's remember back to July and August. Penn State was a team that was not only going to dominate this year, that many predicted was going to win the national title. And now they're probably going to Detroit to the Motor City Bowl or whatever the hell it's called. Little Caesars. Who cares? It's correct. Detroit.
I heard a lot of people telling me that Penn State was going to win the Big Ten championship this year. Yeah. And I heard from numerous preseason prognosticators that Penn State was the best team in the Big Ten. And let me tell you what, they were not. I told you they were not at the time. Drew Aller is not an elite quarterback. He's not a game changer. He is not a dude that can win you a national championship or a Big Ten championship. And I told you that in July, James. So I'm confused.
Hell, You had me sold 2 years ago. I couldn't believe he still was starting. I mean, and I was a backer of his when he came out of high school. But, I mean, you go back to that loss against Oregon, this team imploded on epic, epic levels. That locker room was gone because it was like championship or bust.
Yeah. But in reality, losing that one game to Oregon didn't really matter. They could have come back from that. They could have continued on in their quest to win the conference, to win the national title. Obviously, things probably wouldn't have worked out to win the conference, but if they were 11-1 right now, they'd still be in the conversation to go to the college football playoff. If they would have just, washed and rinsed and repeated, they could have been, continuing on in this trek, but, they wanted to fire their coach and embarrass this guy who had been a tremendous leader for them for 12 years. And now let's not forget, who was the first guy that got fired that got hired, James? Who was the first person that got fired that now has a job? Who is it?
James Franklin.
Thank you.
I mean, honestly, it is. Yeah, he lost some big games. But you know something? They said the same thing about Tom Osborne. Tom Osborne won 3 national championships to end his career. They said the same thing about Bob Stoops. After he won his first, he lost a lot of big games. No questions asked. But he's still motherfucking Bob Stoops.
Whoa. They said that about Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden.
Losing to Miami, that he couldn't win the big game and was never going to win a national championship, and wide left and wide right. I mean, that's just when you're a great program, you're going to play in a ton of big games and you're not going to win them all. Yeah. But this guy is a proven commodity. This guy won at Vanderbilt, which until Clark Lee got there, nobody had ever done.
It's Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's Vanderbilt. And now he won at Penn State and put this program back on the map. And what do? They fire him in the middle of the season and embarrassed him. And now he's going to Virginia Tech. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Let me tell you this, James. If this guy turns around Virginia Tech, we are going to have to start talking about what a great coach he is, because Virginia Tech is a mess right now.
Oh, completely. It shouldn't be, but it is.
It is. It shouldn't be, but it is. It's a mess, and he's going to have a lot of work to get this thing back to right. And if he does it, we are going to give him his props. But he's already proven that he can do it at multiple stops. So we'll see what it looks like when he gets to Blacksburg, which he's already there, and we'll see what it looks like. But, he already has his position. He's already in place. These other schools need to get their hiring done. Penn State, for example, needs to figure out what the hell they're doing and hire somebody, because they're going to miss recruiting. They're going to miss the portal. They're going to miss everything if they don't get somebody in place right now.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Yes, please do. Go to SeatGeek.com right now and get your tickets for the games you want to see. And speaking of the game, how about the game right here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which went down yesterday? Much ballyhooed. I love how, obviously I'm a Buckeye backer, but it's a little bit ridiculous when we win. No one mentions our name. No one really even talks about Ohio State. But when we lose, it's national news. Then even sometimes when we win, all people talk about is when we did lose, a year ago or 2 years ago. They're like, oh, Ohio State finally got their monkey off the back. Ryan Day finally got his monkey. He already beat him. He beat him before this. And we had won 8 straight until we lost a few. But the trophy is back where it belongs. Michigan did not look good. They started off, with a feverish attempt to look good, but it did not go well. This Buckeye team is on a mission. the adjustments is what I take away from this whole game. And this is what I've taken away from this whole season thus far for Ohio State is Matthew Patricia and the way that he sees what happens. If there's something he doesn't like, he'll completely scrap his plan and redo his game plan and his scheme. And, after the first couple of drives, they shut down Michigan and they didn't get 100 yards the rest of the game. James, what did you think about the game? And what did you think about the defensive performance by Matt Patricia?
Well, I mean, let's start off with Patricia because I don't think he gets near the credit he deserves and should win. These Broyles, is the Broyles the assistant coaching? Yeah, he should win it hands down. I mean, honestly, if there's anybody even second, you have to put somebody second, but it should be more like 25th. He above and beyond should get the job.
I agree.
But after the first couple drives where they shut down Michigan's rushing attack, because first couple drives, Michigan was moving the ball. Marshall was having a really good game. Michigan was down blocking incredibly well, getting to the second level. Once Ohio State changed, game over, game, set, match. But I want to go back to Ryan Day because I've wondered in some ways that he's put too much pressure on this game because how many times in the last week have we heard the number 2,191 days over and over and over again? They got the clock set up on when the next kickoff is going to be. It's all about beating Michigan, all about it. That they put too much pressure on that game because right away at the beginning, they looked tight. That interception that Sand had right away at the beginning of the game, I'm like, oh crap, are we going down this road again? But they gathered themselves. Sand had a much better game down the stretch. But I'm like, obviously week of the game, make it like a big deal. But the closer you get to game time, tamp it down. Like it's just another game. I know it's Michigan, but they looked tight in previous years.
Yeah, they came out with a lot of confidence, I think, today or yesterday. However, as you mentioned, the start didn't go as planned. But there was a couple of weird things that happened. That was a bad throw by him. But let's be honest, this guy is completing 80% of his passes. Eventually, he's going to throw a bad one. However, the way he bounced back is what sticks out to me. This guy is unflappable. And, people forget this is his first year as a starting quarterback in college football, his first time ever. And he goes up to Ann Arbor, being from California in the snow, goes 19 for 26 for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns. One pick, obviously, as we talked about. This guy, to me, won the Heisman Trophy yesterday. And I just think, what else do you need someone to do? He's 12-0 as a starter. He's played at times without his 2 best receivers. Both of his receivers were banged up yesterday. However, Carnell Tate, proved to be the difference. But I also think Bo Jackson has been a guy that is not being talked about enough. 22 carries for 117 yards, busted a 36-yard long, and really has that running game humming for the Buckeyes. And that's been the difference to me between this year and previous years. They were able to run the football on Michigan, almost at will. And he went for 5 a carry. C.J. Donaldson had a couple of decent runs. And this team ran for 186 yards. And it goes down, I believe this is like the, 15th time in the row, 20th time in a row that the team that has won the rushing battle has won the game. And Ohio State was more physical on the line of scrimmage. And I think that was the difference when it was all said and done. Not to mention one of these quarterbacks was better than the other. What did you think about Bryce Underwood's day, James? 8 of 18, 63 yards and a pick. You think this guy's worth $12 million, James?
Got to remember, he is a freshman. I will say that, but the game seemed a little big for him over time. Now, this team is young.
He's not a freshman anymore, bro. He's been playing for a year. He's played 12 games. He's no longer a freshman. He's a guy that's got a season under his belt, and that's what you're throwing out on tape, 8 of 18.
But if he played in the game, it's a different environment. It's a different thought process. Don't kid yourself. They probably showed videos of the 10-year war, and that kid's probably anxiety freaking went up to 10. And it doesn't shock me. I mean, this is a young team. Andrew Marsh is going to be a very good receiver for them. I think you're going to see an uptick in how they're playing. I think they're a little overrated right now, and they had no business being talk of the playoff. But I could see an upward trajectory for them going into the future. Jordan Marsh, Underwood's going to get better. They got a decent running attack, and it's Michigan. You know they can run block. So
I like a lot of their team. I like a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like them, but I like what they have talent-wise with a lot of their young players. I just don't know if I like him, James. I don't know, which game did you look at? Tell me right now, because we're going to skip to another game, but you tell me right now, which game did you watch where you said, oh, that's it? Which game, flipped a switch for you with this kid?
it was honestly every game. It was never a complete game. Like, he would have good rushing games, but his passing game, like Nebraska game, it was like he never played a complete game all year.
Correct.
But there's the signs that it could be there. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Outside of Andrew Marsh, who they got at receiver? Samaje Morgan? I mean, I'm sorry. I could put him in my pocket. He's so small. Yeah, he's fast. But, I mean, there's not much there. And what they got out of this season, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. I got to give Schroen more credit, because I did not expect them to have this type of record at the end of the year.
I agree with you. People rip on Sharon Moore, but I gotta tell you, 9-3 with this group, I think is impressive, especially when you have a quarterback who's thrown 9 touchdowns in the entire season, with 6 picks, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and you're 9-3. If you would have told me this guy was going to throw 9 touchdowns all year and that Michigan was going to win 9 games, I mean, that's a touchdown each win, James. That's pretty amazing. Now, I don't think any of this was to do with him. This record is based upon Jordan Marshall and also the other running back who I'm blanking on right now.
Kozel. I can never pronounce his name. He's got that Eastern European name. Kozel.
He's good, but the kid that was hurt that did not play.
Oh, yeah.
He is probably the reason, in my mind, that this team is 9-3. They've had a pretty stellar rushing attack all year long and have been able to run the football on nearly everyone they've played. And that's with Justice Haynes, the name that was escaping me, and also Jordan Marshall. So that's pretty impressive. But, kudos to the Buckeyes. I cannot tell you how happy I am. I've had a smile on my face. I've been whistling doodah ever since the victory. So thank you, Lord.
I think Ryan Day should get some credit yesterday for some very ingenious play calling. I mean, everybody's going to focus on the defense, but there was some stuff, especially on crossing routes, getting back to his old roots, that really impressed me. Like, Claire was wide open so many times on these like bootlegs, or the touchdown Innis had. That play, go back and watch it. It is pure brilliance. It is a glorified pick play. That's not a pick play.
Yeah.
And I mean, Innis, as long as he didn't drop the ball, that was a touchdown, because Michigan had no way of getting to him at all on that slant.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I was critical of Brandon Innis, about halfway through the season. He has turned it around.
Yes.
And made some big plays. He had some drops. He had a fumble on a punt return. He had some things that I just wasn't loving, but he's turned it around and has really stepped up big time. We talk a lot on this show about a tale of two halves and how, the the Texas A&M game against South Carolina a couple weeks ago, where South Carolina was up 30-3 and then they end up losing. Well, let me tell you another game that was a tale of two halves, and that was this Texas A&M game. Me and you both thought Texas might have a chance to win this game, just based on the A&M defense and how porous they've been. Well, this A&M defense was getting after Arch Manning in the first half. It was not Arch's fault. He didn't have time to pick his nose back there. I mean, he would get the ball in the shotgun, and 2 or 3 guys were coming at his face before he even had time to look in the receiver's direction. Really, the only plays that were working in the first half was him, getting the ball, looking at these guys run at him, and he would take off and would, had a couple of nice scrambles. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on offensively for Texas in the first half. Second half was a different story. I think Arch really, really stood out to me in the way that he kept his cool and, came around. This game was the exact example of why I have not been a believer in Marcel Reed all year. This was the game that showed the flaws that I have been discussing. I mean, this guy just couldn't get anything done in the second half, James. 20 of 32, 180 yards, 2 picks. He was their leading rusher with 12 carries for 71 yards. But just throwing the football to me was a struggle by him in the second half. And this game revealed the issues with him, I think, that you have at quarterback. I mean, does this guy look like a dude that can win the national championship to you, James?
Hell no. Hell no. I mean, honestly, God, I at watching this game, there were 2 things that really struck out to me. One of which I'm shocked that nobody's talking about when they talk about A&M. Everybody talks about Concepcion or Reese or their tailbacks. The real winners of that offense is that offensive line. I cannot tell you how many clean pockets that Marcel Reese had, and that is a very good Texas defensive line that gets after it. I mean, heck, Julian Sain could speak very loudly to that because Texas was doing a good job getting pressure on him first game of the year. But he couldn't complete a pass if his life depended on it. I mean, some of those throws were just god awful, and offensive line provides those lanes. Now, in the first half, the refs were really upsetting me because there were long passes that Arch made that, in my mind, were just blatant pass interferences. There was like 4 that I'm like, how? I mean, they were holding Ryan Wingo's arms down.
They had him they had his arms wrapped around him on that one deep ball.
If it's not pass interference, then what the hell is pass interference? I'm like, it always felt like even when Texas, it was close, I felt Texas was in charge. I wish Sarkisian would use that tight end, Jack Andrus, that transfer from Cal more often. I think he is a very hidden asset on this team that they haven't used hardly at all this year. They keep trying to force the ball to Ryan Wingo, and Ryan Wingo, I'm sorry, he's not lived up to the billing. He's kind of in the Ryan Williams school of thought from Alabama. A lot of hype, but really, what's there? I don't get it. And Quentin Wisner, great game. Great game. His draft stock rose, and it should, because he is a quality back that never got to show it because Texas offensive line sucks.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not good. And you've been talking about Wisner all year, and this was the kind of go-to game for him in a big-time moment in rivalry weekend. He goes out and gets 55 yards, busts that 50-yard run. That was a big one, and really, really played well. But I've got to give Steve Sarkisian some credit here. They've had a roller coaster season. They've had some ups. They've had some downs. People were writing this team off after they lost to Florida, bro. People were ready to throw this team in the trash and move on. The same team that all these prognosticators were talking about was the best team in the country. They were all saying they were garbage after they lost that game to the Florida Gators in the swamp. And me and you did not say that. We both said, no, this team's good. They've got to get things right. They've got to figure out a way to get, past this offensive line play. But they've been able to do it. And I think Sark deserves some credit and, has righted this ship with what he's done.
Name me a quarterback who has had more hype on him coming out of high school to start than Ron Paulus. Hell, Arch's own uncles never got this type of hype. I mean, You had, what's-his-face, Feinbaum calling him the greatest quarterback of all time, and the guy hadn't even started a season yet.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And, he is persevered. Another guy who I've been a little critical of, thanks to his mouth and thanks to his mom and everything else, and his brother who got arrested yesterday at Neyland Stadium, Diego Pavia. It's kind of a shit show with this guy. However, I must admit, wow. I mean, I don't know how he does it. This guy looks like a Smurf out on the field with the rest of the people. He doesn't have the greatest arm. He's not fast, but he's got something, James. He's got something because he just tore this Vols defense to shreds yesterday and, just made the Banks and company just look 100% lost. And really what they did that I admired was they went after this secondary that's, much maligned. They've been missing their 2 starters. McCoy hasn't played all year. Boo Carter was kicked off the team. I mean, they're 3-4 deep in the secondary, and Vanderbilt knew it. They exposed it when they tried to go to man coverage. Then Diego would just take off running. What did you think about Vandy's performance yesterday in a huge game for them, coming to Knoxville and destroying the Vols like that?
Up until yesterday, had they won a game against a over 500, above 500 team?
I don't believe so.
Think so. Yeah. I mean, this game was big for them. Not only for bragging rights in the state of Tennessee, which, let's be honest, Vanderbilt hasn't had much bragging rights there since Jesus Christ spoke in Omaha. I mean, it's always been Tennessee State. And Pavia's got this gamer type of ability. Now, at the next level, I see Johnny Manziel written all over this kid. Someone's going to overdraft him, make him their starting quarterback, and you could just tell the locker room is going to become a shit show. Am I wrong?
I don't know whether somebody will draft. I mean, maybe they will draft him. I don't know. I don't see a whole lot there that translates. But as I mentioned, I was pretty impressed. 20 carries this guy had yesterday. Yeah. 20 carries for 165 yards and a touchdown, a long of 41 yards. I knew it was coming. My niece, who is 18 years old and is a track star, doesn't watch a ton of football, was looking at me going, how did they not know that he was going to run that quarterback, draw up the middle? She's like, I knew that they were going to run that. I think they did know it. They just couldn't stop it. He's got a little shiftiness to him. He's got a little something. And, man, it was working yesterday because he ran all over the balls, and he was the difference. He couldn't seem to throw the ball at times because he had 2 really bad interceptions. But, he made up for that with his legs and really took it to him by being able to get out and get after it and running all over Tennessee in Neyland Stadium. I just thought that was pretty amazing to see. We got time for about one more here. So let's talk just for a second about the Iron Bowl. This was a game that, honestly, Auburn really could have won. I mean, if you could take away the drops, if you could take away the interceptions, if you could take away the dumb penalties, Auburn, to me, outgained Alabama and just looked at times like the better team. James, what did you think about the Iron Bowl and what transpired between these two clubs?
I can't. I mean, we've been yelling about Auburn's offense all year long, how it is literally comatose, like it's on life support. And if they would have just executed just slightly more, that defense gave them every opportunity known to mankind. Now, granted, what in the world was Alabama doing on some of these play calls? Like that flea flicker? I'm sorry. I'm surprised that Ty Simpson's even standing upright today, because it was like when Bernard threw the ball back to him, I'm like, oh, God, this is not going to be pretty. And he got jacked hard. Like Ty Simpson got really hit a lot yesterday. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised he's under concussion protocols right now. And you got to play Georgia in the freaking SEC championship in a few days.
Yeah, that's not going to go well, I don't think, for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I just think the way that the Georgia defense is playing. Also, if they watch this game and have a tape of it, that's not going to go well because Auburn showed them, the weaknesses. And to be honest with you, the Auburn defense got after them. I mean, they couldn't stop a lot of the edge guys that Auburn's defense had. Number 17, Xavier Atkins, he was getting after it pretty much all night. And then Kieron Crawford, he was in the backfield. I don't think he registered a sack, but he was in the backfield for a lot of the evening and causing problems for Alabama. I don't know what it is about this Alabama team. It's not that they're bad, but I just don't know what they do very well. Yesterday was probably their best rushing game of the season, and it wasn't that great. He's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's great. I just don't know what this team does great, James. They're not the Nick Saban defense of old. They're not They're not the Nick Saban running attack. I mean, I don't know. Ryan Williams is supposed to be their best wide receiver, and he wasn't even on the field for half the night, James. I think he finished with no catches. I don't think he had a catch all night. Did he have a catch?
No, he didn't.
No.
You know, he's almost 400 yards off where he was last year and has half the touchdowns. I'm just like, I'm tired of the hype, and it's show me something. All right. It is. We know you're a 5-star ranking, but honest to God, he's not even the second best option. He's maybe the third behind.
Yeah,
Horton.
Bernard and Horton are by far the best, and Brooks has been more productive as of late. I mean, last night he wasn't on the field in crunch time and didn't even catch a pass. I don't know what's going on with Ryan Williams, but I think we know who's better between him and Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith played with one leg yesterday and still had a 40-yard touchdown. So I think we can put that to bed.
You take Ty Simpson off this team, how many losses do you think Alabama has?
6.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Ty Simpson is the difference between them making the playoff, and I don't care who they play. I'm taking the opposition in that game.
Yeah, and he didn't even play that great yesterday.
No.
But he did enough to get them the win. I mean, there was a lot of times on third down, he was scrambling and getting the first down himself. And this guy isn't really a runner per se. So,
and they got 3 offensive linemen who are supposed to be drafted high in this draft.
Yeah.
I mean, Caden Proctor, I'm not sure I'd go after him. Would you?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a ceiling to him for sure. He's got a pretty high ceiling. He's proven that he's got some issues and things to work on for sure, but I might draft him. I'd take him over Diego Pavia. That's for damn sure.
But would you put a first rounder on him? That's the key. Yeah.
I mean, late first round, I'd probably take him, 20s, in the 20s. I would take him just because of his size. I mean, you're not going to have a guy that big, that strong, that can run like he does. There's just not that many people that can do it. So
true.
I would take him in the late. I would take him in the 20s, 20s or 30s for sure. But yeah, we got to get out of here. James, final thoughts on your college football playoff. Who do you think is left out at this point? What teams are staying home?
I think if Texas is left out, every Power 5, Power 4 team should rethink their schedule. Because
I agree. Why would you penalize this team for playing the number 1 team?
Correct. 100%. And somehow, some way, watch, Oklahoma's going to sneak their way in. And Oklahoma's not the same team they were in early October, September. They just aren't. They've got a really good defense, but offensively, sometimes there, sometimes not. I don't know.
I agree. I think that Texas is a better team than Miami. I think Texas has a better resume than Notre Dame. Yeah. I think Texas should be in just based on the schedule that they played, the road games. I mean, they played Ohio State on the road. They were traveling all over the place. I mean, they could have given up. I mean, I just think they've proven that they belong. And I hate Texas. So
here's another one for you. What if Duke beats Virginia in the ACC championship? Granted, us saying those 2 words out loud is making me like chuckle because we're like foregone conclusion. It's going to be Clemson and God, who was the other team? It was like 2 teams, Clemson, Miami.
Yeah.
Who else could it be? Like
Duke and Virginia.
Duke and Virginia. I mean, what is Krzyzewski and Terry Holland going to be on the sidelines too as well?
What a joke. Let me tell you 2 teams that don't deserve to be in the college football playoff. Duke and Virginia. But neither one of those teams.
What if Duke wins that game?
I hope
that will be epic. 8-5 Duke. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. The Tulane North Texas game is probably going to dictate who gets from the group of 5.
Yeah.
I would give them a higher seed than Duke.
Yeah, I probably would too. There's flaws in this process for sure, and it's getting exposed because teams that should be in are going to be left out this year, and teams that have no business being in are going to be in. So they need to rethink this. They need to just take the top 12 teams and quit all this BS. And they need to get rid of these freaking conference championship games because they make no sense. And it just convolutes everything with a bunch of ridiculous, worthless football games. So we are out of here. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And we'll be back at you in a week's time. James.
Conference championship week. It's going to be – oh, wait, before we go. Congratulations to Bishop Watterson. Laying the wood to Tip City, to Tippecanoe. Laying the wood to play for the state title. And also, Drew Belisari.
Yeah, man. He deserves the Ohio Mr. Football. Give it to him. And the Belisari brothers coaching him up one more time. So good luck to Bishop Watterson. I hope the Eagles win it all. Peace out.
Later.